So welcome again. Today we have Seattle College, which is located in Seattle, Washington, USA. It offers undergraduate programs, and we have with us Mr. Matthew M. Desoy. He is the Associate Director of International Marketing and Outreach at Seattle Colleges. He'll be taking an important core topic, why are community college, what are community colleges, and why are they such a great option for international students. I welcome Mr. Matthew M. Desoy.
Hi, Richard. Thank you so much for having me this morning on my end and this evening on your end. I appreciate you allowing me to come and speak to this wonderful group. I'm going to share my screen if that's all right, so I can share a little presentation and talk to you a little bit about Seattle Colleges and community college. So why don't we do this? I'm going to run through my presentation. I'm going to give you a chance to ask questions at the end, because there could be a chance that I might answer a question in the middle that I might actually answer later on in the presentation. So if you have a question throughout, I definitely want to hear it. I'm here to answer your questions and help you learn more about Seattle Colleges. But please hold it till the end, and we will, I'll have a chance to answer it at the end. So I'll start off by again thanking Richard and his team for allowing me to come and speak here today. It really is a pleasure. My name is Matthew Desoy, and I am the Associate Director of Marketing and Outreach at Seattle Colleges for the International Programs Division. So my job essentially is to help prospective students and our partners around the world, kind of our institutional partners like Richard and his agency, to learn more about Seattle Colleges and then go through the application process and enrollment process. So I'm really your point person to help understand that process and help you learn more. So to start off, I usually like to talk a little bit about location. There are so many locations in the United States, and each one is so different. Each one provides a really different cultural vibe and just geographic vibe. Each one is really different. So Seattle is no different. Seattle is really a very different place than most of the other big cities in the United States. So I'll start off just by talking a little bit about what makes Seattle great. If you haven't been, we are located here in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. So in the state of Washington. We're right in the middle, so about 2 hours to Vancouver, British Columbia in Canada, and about 2 hours to Portland, Oregon. Very centrally located, very close to California by plane. You can get almost anywhere in California by plane in about 2 hours. So it's very easy to kind of access the west coast of the United States. This here is the city of Seattle. It is, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful cities that exists in the United States. We are surrounded in every direction by beautiful water, great architecture, really, amazing cultural institutions like markets and libraries and museums. We're a really big sports city here. There are very, very passionate sports fans here in Seattle. Football, soccer, hockey, you name it. We've got really, really passionate sports fans. Coffee is something that Seattle is really well known for. So Starbucks, the original Starbucks, comes from Seattle. The very first Starbucks was here in Seattle, and the company's headquarters is here. So that's when, when a lot of the world thinks of Seattle, they do think of Starbucks, because that's one of the things that they identify as coming from here. But I always like to tell students that, there are so many great coffee houses around the city of Seattle. And that's one thing that really connects the community across the greater Pacific Northwest, a love for coffee and coffee houses. Our students love to spend time in coffee houses doing their, doing their homework, preparing for an exam, meeting with their friends. Coffee houses really are the places where people like to meet here in the city of Seattle. The other thing that Seattle is really well known for is its access to nature. It is surrounded by some of the tallest, most beautiful mountains in the United States. So in the summertime, our students love to go hiking and camping. All types of water activities are very easily accessible right from the downtown. The ocean is very close. You can get to the Pacific Ocean in just about 1.5 hours by car. So in the summertime, in the warmer months, it's very easy to visit the ocean. And then all types of winter activities in the colder months. Skiing and snowboarding and snowshoeing. there are amazing opportunities, especially in the wintertime here in the Pacific Northwest. So I'll usually start off my presentation just by talking about how Seattle is a great place to live, which makes Seattle a really great place to study. So let me shift gears and talk a little bit about Seattle colleges. So the first thing I'll say is that one thing that sets us apart from some of the other community colleges that exist in the United States is that we actually are a district of 3 community colleges. So we have 3 campuses across the city of Seattle. Seattle Central College is located right in the heart of the downtown, right in kind of the city center. And then North Seattle College and South Seattle College are each located about 7-8 kilometers to the north and to the south, respectively. So one of the nice things that I always like to highlight is that each of our 3 campuses has a very different cultural environment. So we have 3 options to really fit the needs of different students. So if you like to be kind of in the middle of the city and the middle of the action, Seattle Central is a great option. But if you like quieter, more residential options, both North and South Seattle College offer something for those students. So that's really one of the things that I always highlight as being one of the things that we do best, is just offering students a lot of choice when it comes to their environment, all around kind of a really amazing city. So as I mentioned, Seattle Central College is located right in the downtown, the city center. The neighborhood is called Capitol Hill, and it's one of the best neighborhoods for young people in the whole city. It is surrounded, the school itself is surrounded by coffee houses and shops and restaurants, museums and parks. It's really kind of the center of life here in the city of Seattle. And it's very hard sometimes to even know where the city ends and the campus begins, because it all kind of blends into one. A lot of international students choose this location because of its access to the city center, because of its access to a lot of the cultural life of the city. So it's a really great option for those students. But, for students that are looking for a different experience, perhaps they're looking for a more residential, quieter institution environment, or perhaps they're just looking for something that resembles more the look of a traditional college campus. That's where South Seattle College comes in. When you're walking around South Seattle College, it really does feel and look very much like a traditional college campus. There are many different academic buildings, and students will walk from one building to another, to the cafeteria, to the library, surrounded by beautiful gardens and expansive lawns. As I said earlier, it is about 7 kilometers to the southwest of the city center. So it does offer a little bit quieter, more residential neighborhood. So you're not really filled so much with all of the hustle and bustle of the downtown. And then finally, North Seattle College, in my opinion, it offers great benefits and kind of a mix of both of the first 2 campuses. So it is a bit farther removed from the city center, about 7 kilometers to the north of the city center. So in that sense, it is also in a quieter, more residential neighborhood. However, it is actually a little bit easier to access by public transportation. The subway line goes right to North Seattle College, right from downtown. So you can make it downtown on the subway line in about 10 minutes. And it's located in one of the best, kind of most recreational neighborhoods of the city, very close to Green Lake, which is where a lot of people like to run and have picnics and enjoy the time outdoors. It's one of the best parks that we have here in the city of Seattle. So really, I know I've talked about our 3 campuses. The point is, no matter what kind of environment you're looking for, if you're looking for to be right in the middle of the city, more of a suburban vibe, or even something that would resemble a quieter, more outside of the city vibe, we have 3 options that are really going to fit those needs. So let me shift again and talk a little bit about what a community college is, because it's really important that you understand exactly what Seattle Colleges is and how it fits into a greater higher education experience, a bachelor's degree program, if that's what you're seeking. So I usually like to start off by saying that to earn a 4-year traditional bachelor's degree, a university degree, to get started with that program, you really have 2 options. Your first option is that you can start at university. You'll see there on the right-hand side. And if you start at a 4-year university, you will typically spend all 4 years, year 1, year 2, year 3, and year 4, at the same institution. And at the end of those 4 years, you will earn a bachelor's degree. Your second option is on the left to start at community college, like Seattle colleges. And the community college option is typically a 2-year option. So you come to study at Seattle colleges. Most students will come just for 2 years. We offer the first 2 years of a traditional bachelor's degree. So you come here, study year 1 and year 2 of your bachelor's degree. You take the same coursework as if you were at university. So the coursework typically is no different than if you had started at university. At the end of your first 2 years at community college, you earn an associate degree, and then you transfer to university for year 3 and year 4, where you then focus on your major coursework, and you still finish up with a bachelor's degree after 4 years. So one of the big misconceptions about community college is that for some reason it's going to take longer than 4 years to earn a bachelor's degree. That's not necessarily true. There are a number of factors that will influence that decision. But for students that start off right at the beginning in college level coursework in year 1 of their bachelor's degree program, it is very easy to finish your program within 4 years. So it really just does depend. So you might be thinking, what are the benefits of a community college? Why would I consider a community college over a university? I like to highlight 2 primary benefits to the community college model. The first thing that you'll oftentimes hear representatives of community college mention is small class sizes. So community colleges are known for having much smaller class sizes than their university counterparts. At Seattle colleges, our average class size is about 23 students, so not much larger than an average high school class. I do like to compare that, if you were to go to a big public university here in the city of Seattle, in some of those year 1 and year 2 classes, you could have students up to 100 to 200 students in one classroom with one professor. So I always like to highlight small class sizes because it just gives you a little bit more attention from the faculty. It gives you a much smaller group learning environment. And I think that really benefits you along the way. The second primary benefit, and the thing that I think is probably most valuable, is the fact that community colleges are very affordable against their university counterparts. So in the upcoming school year, our tuition at Seattle colleges for international students like you is $9,950 per academic year, just about. So we're still under $10,000 per year for tuition. I do like to compare that also. Tuition right now at a public 4-year university like the University of Washington is about $38,000 per year for international students. And then tuition at a private 4-year university like Boston University currently is about $58,000, $59,000 per year for international students. So think of that, don't forget, it is per year, and it is just the cost to study. So it doesn't actually include the cost of living expenses, but you can see that you really can save a great deal of money to get started at community colleges. Now, I will take a moment here to answer, a lot of students will ask about scholarships or financial aid. I will say that we do not typically offer scholarships or financial aid to international students. So that's something to keep in mind when you're considering community college or when you're considering Seattle colleges. We do not typically offer scholarships or financial aid. So when you're looking at different universities and colleges, you'll want to ask about scholarships and financial aid because that's a really important part of it. I like to think that our price tag, our tuition number is low enough that even if you were to go to a big university and they offered you, let's say, a 50% tuition discount or a 75% tuition discount, our tuition might still end up being lower without the scholarship because our tuition rate is so low.